Time now for your local news week in review. A man originally believed to be driving a pickup that ran a red light and crashed into a van in July, killing a 54-year-old Becker man and his 10-year-old daughter, has told investigators that his girlfriend was driving. Search warrants filed in Stearns County District Court show that investigators are focusing on 17-year-old Carly Bolig as being the driver of the pickup that hit the van. One of those warrants indicates that Bolig, as she was being loaded into an ambulance at the crash scene, told a trooper that she was the driver. The crash, July 21st, killed Charles Maurer and his daughter Cassie. Those search warrants also show that Bolig and those in the pickup had stopped in St. Cloud before the crash to use drugs, and that Bolig might have been posting to Facebook right before the crash. The warrants also quote a passenger in the vehicle as telling Bolig before the crash to stop using her phone while she was driving. Bolig is quoted in the warrants as telling that passenger to shut up and that she didn't care if she crashed. Investigators found synthetic marijuana and a pipe inside the truck in property that belonged to Bolig. That's according to the search warrants. They were seeking permission from a judge to search her phone to determine whether she was using her phone at the time of the crash. No criminal charges have been filed in this case at this time. Around 1:10 Wednesday afternoon, Morrison County Dispatch received 911 calls of a boy on a bicycle hit by a vehicle at the intersection of 11th Street and Highway 27 East. The juvenile on the bike was taken by ambulance to the hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the vehicle, 48-year-old Carol Krzyzewski of Piers, was uninjured. The crash is still under investigation by the Little Falls Police Department. The Morrison County Sheriff's Office responded to an accident at Bethany Lutheran Church in Morrill Township near Foley around 12:20 last Saturday afternoon. 67-year-old David Goddich of Royalton was participating in a tractor event where he was pulling a 55-gallon steel barrel with front tires. The barrel rolled off to one side and was hit by the tractor's rear tire, causing the side of the tractor to come off the ground. Goddich fell off the tractor, and after striking the ground, he was ran over by the back tires of the tractor. He was airlifted to North Memorial Hospital and last listed in serious condition. The Morrison County Sheriff's Office reported that around 11 a.m. Thursday, their office received a report of a one-vehicle accident on 285th Avenue near Lastrup. 66-year-old Jean Stagora of Hillman was traveling south on 285th Avenue when she drove off the left side of the roadway and hit a tree. It totaled her vehicle and injured herself. She was taken to St. Gabriel's Hospital by ambulance for treatment of injuries sustained. A Fort Ripley man was injured a week ago last night when his vehicle left Depot Street in Brainerd and struck a tree. 35-year-old Trevor DeRozier was flown to St. Cloud Hospital with an apparent head injury. Alcohol may have been a factor in the crash. Charges are pending by law enforcement. According to the hospital, as of Monday, DeRozier was no longer a patient there. A go-kart rollover in Fort Ripley last Thursday, 9 days ago, caused injuries to the driver and passenger. The sheriff's office said that 58-year-old David Wall of Fort Ripley was operating a go-kart near Badeau Road when it flipped over. Wall and his passenger, 40-year-old David Blosser of Brainerd, were assessed by medical personnel. Both men refused to be taken to the hospital. Little Falls firefighters responded to a fire around 3 o'clock a week ago Thursday at the Dudley and Kathy Gangstead residence on Lawson Road in Fort Ripley. They found a lot of smoke coming from the house, but there were no flames. The smoke was from a dryer. The home did sustain some smoke damage. There were no injuries. Numerous human bone fragments have been found at a farm 2 miles north of Wadena. Large piles of black dirt were seen at the scene where authorities dug up the remains. The sheriff's office in Wadena County executed a search warrant at 11441 Leaf River Road in Leaf River Township Monday. In a press release, the Wadena County Sheriff's Department stated, contrary to erroneous media reports, the human remains being sought do not involve Jacob Wetterling or Carla Anderson. Numerous bone fragments were found and have been sent in for analysis concerning the origin of the items found. Crow Wing County authorities have arrested a 33-year-old East Grand Forks man for burglary to a Nisswa church. David Young was arrested this week. Back on August 18th, the Christ Community Church was found to be forcefully entered, cash and several items were taken, and a path of destruction was left behind, including human feces. DNA was taken from bus tokens and a soda can to get DNA evidence that led to authorities searching for Young. He was found in a Pequot Lakes restaurant where first he gave officers a false name, but later admitted to being David Young. He was arrested. He faces burglary and other charges in Crow Wing County. The Central Minnesota July unemployment rate has experienced a modest improvement after a June spike. Data released from the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development on Tuesday indicates the 7-county region of Morrison, Benton, Mille Lacs, Sherburne, Stearns, Todd, and Wright counties, along with the St. Cloud metropolitan area, all witnessed slight improvements. That area was at 4.1% unemployment, down 0.2 percentage points from June. Morrison County alone, 4.5% unemployment in June. Pine Grove Park in Little Falls has a new handicapped accessible ramp courtesy of a class of warrant officer candidates from Camp Ripley. The project took about 2 months of planning between Little Falls City staff and the volunteering class of warrant officer candidates. It took the soldiers about 4 hours constructing the ADA-approved walkway and the rest of the afternoon cleaning up downed trees along walkways in the park. The city will cover a cost of about $1,000 for timbers, granite chips, and other materials, along with $500 in staff and miscellaneous costs for an estimated project total to the city of Little Falls of approximately $1,500. Oak wilt, an invasive fatal disease affecting all oak species, was confirmed for the first time in Morrison County by DNR and U of M staff in late July. A third law enforcement operation Tuesday led by Baxter Police netted 4 more men for attempting to solicit prostitution in a public place. Police placed an online advertisement for an escort that would offer services at a Baxter hotel. The 4 men responded to the ad, agreed to the price, and were arrested after arriving at the Baxter Hotel Tuesday. The 4 men are still awaiting official charges earlier this week through the Crow Wing County Attorney's Office. Earlier this year, 2 separate stings netted nearly a dozen arrests for solicitation. 2 women who say they were sexually abused by a now deceased St. Cloud Diocese priest sued the diocese and 2 parishes where they say the abuse happened. The women, who were not named, accused Donald Reeder of sexually abusing them at parishes in Randall and Kimball in the 1960s when the girls were between the ages of 11 and 15. The lawsuits allege negligence and accuse the diocese of common law nuisance. Back in January, Bishop Donald Kettler put Reeder on the list of priests to the public who had been involved with sexual abuse of minors from the past. 65-year-old Paulette Pappenfuss, the third-generation owner of Pap Sports Shop in Little Falls, is the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources 2014 Volunteer Firearms Safety Instructor of the Year. She received the honor at this year's Minnesota Game Fair in Anoka. She's been organizing and teaching DNR firearms safety classes in Little Falls since 1981. And congratulations to 19-year-old Kayla Mock of Howard Lake in Wright County. She was crowned the 62nd Princess K of the Milky Way back on Wednesday night. She had her likeness carved in butter on Thursday at the first day of the Minnesota State Fair, which continues through Labor Day. Fellow finalist Megan Uphoff of Melrose will be in the butter booth on the final day of the State Fair, Labor Day, September 7th. That completes this week's Local News Week in Review. Thanks for listening.